Hey everyone, I'm Tom. Welcome to another Crossing Paths episode. As my wife and I travel the country, we meet a lot of really cool people along the way, and in this series we share some of their stories with you. In this episode, we cross paths with some other full-time RVer friends of ours, Drivin and Vibin. We met up in Quartzsite, Arizona in January 2017.
So I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Drivin and Vibin on our social media platforms.
So we've been full-timing since September 28th, 2015, and that's almost a year and a half, I think.
Mm-hmm. So we're traveling in a 16-foot 1985 Fiberstream camper, and we renovated it all ourselves and kind of made it our own. We really liked the idea of a solid piece of fiberglass and the molded fiberglass campers like Scamp and Casita, because we were looking at something vintage but didn't want to worry about water damage and things like that of some of the other old campers we looked at. So this really kind of fit the perfect weight we needed for the truck we already owned, and it was adorable, and we fell in love with it as soon as we saw it. So
yeah, one of the key factors was that we already had a truck that worked well and we trusted driving. So we wanted to make sure whatever we got, we could tow with that. And since it was a Ford Ranger, our options were at the very lightweight end of the spectrum.
We have not seen another Fiberstream yet, but we have met a couple that have one. We were actually at a campground and they just pulled off. They were driving by the campground and pulled in, saw our camper, and just walked up to our door. And we're like, oh my gosh, we've never seen another one. We just bought ours. And we ended up talking to them for quite a while, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
But we have kind of talked to some people on other forums with like the molded fiberglass egg type campers, and
there's some Instagrammers that travel on the weekends in a Fiberstream, but really very few.
No one full time that we know of.
Even though it's small, we do have a king size bed, and we have a 2-burner stove kitchen, and a bathroom
and a shower, so everything we need is there.
And the king size bed really makes it feel comfortable. Even though there's not a lot other than that, we can definitely get comfortable in bed, and that's one of the most important things.
But we do have very minimal storage, so we can't have a lot of unnecessary things. We pretty much have to keep with practical items that serve multiple purposes a lot of times. So downsizing to it wasn't too hard, just because we didn't have like a lot of furniture and things like that to begin with. But getting our clothes down to the bare minimum of things we need. And since we've been on the road, we've found that we really do use the same items over and over and over again. So we don't really need a lot of stuff. And along the way, we find out things that we didn't need at all that we thought were going to be so important to bring. And so we are constantly purging still and dropping off bags to donate and things like that, and realizing we don't have one of these. How have we survived this long without this thing that so many other RVers use that make life easier? So it's a learning process.
So we decided to full-time RV because we wanted to get out and explore. We saw so many Instagram accounts with people doing the same thing, full-timing, before we were full-timers, and it was totally inspiring to see the scale they were doing it on, the places they were seeing, the speed they were traveling. All these things made us think, if there's so many other people doing it, then we can do it. And we did not have jobs that were holding us back, and we didn't have debt that was holding us back.
Yeah, and that minimal, simple lifestyle really just appealed to us. We really just kind of loved the idea of stripping down to the bare minimum and really making room for experiences and growth, and to really kind of connect with nature and communities and allow ourselves this room to kind of grow and figure out who we are away from the daily grind of things.
The thing that surprised me about traveling and life on the road is how normal and regular everything is. I always thought it was going to be an awesome adventure, where we're doing things all the time, and that's what we are doing. But after the first month, it just became life, and it didn't become anything other than living in this moment, experiencing new things.
I think a lot of people imagine it as full-time vacation, but we do all the normal things that you do like laundry and dishes and grocery shopping and all these things that are just total normal life things. We just so happen that our backyard changes frequently.
And it keeps us so much more present, even in the grocery shopping or any errand. It's a new place every time. So even a Walmart is new to us whenever we
Things
go.
are in different places, so it's like always an adventure and a new thing.
So this is our dog, River. She is a wonderful adventure animal to have.
Yes, she is our best travel companion we could ask for. And she totally makes this experience even more wonderful and amazing than we could have imagined. And she probably keeps us from killing each other too. She's a great diffuser and brings a lot of love into the camper.
So Drivin and Vibin is our social media name. It took about 150 different names before we came to that one. We went on a walk one afternoon and we're just spouting off names back and forth to each other. You know, we got far out there, we reined it back in, went far out again.
Tried a bunch of different word combinations, and I was playing with driving and something. And I was making dinner, I think, when we finally landed on the final name.
I believe I
Kyle
yelled down.
screamed down from the bedroom, Drivin and Vibin. And I was like, that's it. That's the one. That's perfect. And
I was surprised
it
you
felt
agreed.
right.
Whenever I think of some of the greatest experiences, my mind first goes to some of the boondocking sites we've camped at, like the Badlands and Glacier. Were just amazing experiences that went beyond anything that I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Just the space we were camping in, the connection with nature.
Yeah,
It was-
landscapes we would have never been able to imagine had we not been there. It seemed like we were driving on a different planet sometimes. I couldn't believe this was like the same country still. It felt so foreign and still does so many times. I think it's probably some of the people we've met along the way. We really didn't meet anyone for kind of like the first 6 months or so on the road. We were kind of by ourselves and moving very quickly. And then when we got involved in like the escapers group and like ways to meet up with other working age full-timers, it was really awesome for us to gain those friendships and that knowledge and just be able to, you know, have these connections and run into these people all over the country. And it's been really meaningful.
Some of the most impactful connections we had, one that sticks out is right before Christmas, we checked
one I was
in,
thinking
or we
of too.
arrived to the Fountain of Youth RV spa. They were having some $10 a night rate for RVers. So whenever we pulled in, we were greeted by
like 3 different couples walked up to us that we had never met, and they came and introduced themselves and told us all, you know, their social media names, and they were all full-timers as well and had kind of sort of known us from the internet too. And so we had a vague idea of who everyone was, but it was like Christmas Day, and they invited us over for Christmas dinner. So Christmas dinner with a room full of strangers, and it was so amazing and so fun, and we just connected right off the bat, and it was just so awesome to see that like you can be included so quickly, no questions asked. You're welcome here, and I mean, it's making me emotional now, but it's a beautiful experience. So we have an Etsy shop called The Wooden Earth, and we started this about a year before we hit the road and didn't really think it would be able to support us at the time, but kind of it evolved over that year, and actually we kind of found this niche that really worked out for us, and we only deal in paper products, so we sell antique maps, prints, illustrations, advertisements, pretty much anything that we think is cool or interesting.
Yeah.
And so we carry about 3,000 items around with us and ship them off all over the country.
And when we first hit the road, that was 100% of our income. But as we have grown into the social media, we created the blog, YouTube channel, Facebook page, and we began to create some revenue from those things. So now Etsy is about 75% of our income. Before we hit the road, I was a full-time musician playing about 200 gigs a year, and Olivia was in the service industry.
Yeah, I worked at a restaurant for about 5 years there. That's actually where I met Kyle. He was a server there at the time as well. And yeah, we just kind of got stuck in the grind of things, and were exhausted and hardly ever saw each other, and Kyle was working so much, and our schedules, by the time he got home at night, we were eating super late and just going to bed, so like barely, you know, spending much time together. And when we did have time off, we were just recovering basically.
I haven't played guitar in about like 3 months, but we're just getting back into that and trying to you know, express some of these experiences through our creative songwriting.
And I think it helped to that you had time to feel like music wasn't a job anymore, like, because I think for a long time for you it turned into work instead of passion.
For sure.
And so like this journey that we've been on has allowed us just time to really just connect and not like see it as work anymore. And now it seems like a fun adventure again, and we can see it through a new lens, and are really excited about like writing some songs from our experiences on the road, and hope to put out an album soon in the summer.
And I think it's also realizing that my passion before wasn't really music, but it was connection, and I was connecting with people through music. But Drivin and Vibin has been an amazing way to segue that connection with another group of people through our YouTube channel and stuff like that.
And to have such an amazing topic and content for our songs of things we really feel passionate about, and that really connected with us and rang true with us, and hopefully will with a lot of other people too.
Our future is only mapped out very solidly for like the next month or two, but we do have visions.
And yeah, we have various different ideas and dreams and goals of possibilities. Like, we don't like try to get hung up on any one set future or outcome, and instead have a few different ideas of different paths that seem like would be interesting routes to take right now, but we're constantly open to changing. So people ask us a lot, you know, are you going to change up your rig? And probably.
Yeah,
and
we hope to change.
When the funds come along to upgrade, we will, but we are so up in the air about what we would want to change up and upgrade to, that we really don't know until we get to that point where we have the money and we're ready to buy something that will probably narrow down and really be able, because we all the time we're like, well, we could live in a van, and then we're like, oh, maybe a bigger travel trailer would be good, and then sometimes we think, no, a Class C is what we need. So we really just are ever changing and do not know. You know, we would like to maybe one day have a home base near our family, just to be able to stay at while we visit them and things like that. But I see travel being a part of our life always.
So one of the things that I feel like we can take from this experience, other than the amazing places we've seen and relationships we've built, is that there is such an amazing community of people online to build relationships with and to share experiences with. Right now, we're sharing it with people who are interested in RVing for the most part, but we know we never realized that it was so easy to connect with people online, and how you know, strong those connections can be.
And you know, if for whatever reason we had to stop traveling, I think we would use so much of what we've learned about just working and connecting with people and implement it in our lives, so that no matter where we were, what we were doing, we could do something we love and put passion and creativity into whatever we do, so that we don't have to live on anyone else's time, because I think that's very important to us, is that we live on our own time and work for ourselves and make our own decisions. And I think that brings us a lot of happiness and peace to have that.
Thanks for joining us for our interview with these guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. Be sure to check out their links in the description below, or watch their YouTube channel here. Also subscribe for more videos and future crossing paths.